our young people are looking at this and they're saying this is something that is right because the politicians, the leaders of our country, this is something that they do. So, Mr. Prime Minister, I would like for you to, first of all, apologize on the way you responded to the question. And secondly, allow me to finish, please. Allow me to finish, please.
See on this matter than I do. I am not here to create, and I make that point very seriously, because I am not here to create a system that is going to deprive Jamaicans of their freedom. And you know what else?
But the bill does.
I am not hiding from consultation. I am here facing the questions. Unlike most, I am facing the questions and answering them. And I will go to every church in Jamaica. I will go to every room, every house, and I will answer them.
I hope you're doing fine, and if you're coming from the Caribbean, you can't afford to miss this. So this was a very heated argument between the Prime Minister and these students of a university. So this is what happens when you don't deliver, when you don't live up to your promises. So let's watch this video, and there is so many other things. This student had to force the Prime Minister to apologize to the Jamaicans because of the failures that have come along with his government. Let's watch this video, come back and give a quick reaction about the same. Thank you so much, my Jamaican friends.
So peeps, we know that the debate surrounding NIDS is on in earnest, and many persons are voicing their opinions and concerns. We see now where Prime Minister Holness has taken step to correct something in his head that is out in the public. He said someone spliced a video from a youth town hall to mislead you and give the impression that I disrespected a young man who asks about NIDS. This is not so. Please see the full exchange. We must be careful of those who will use dishonesty to achieve their narrow political objectives. Read for yourself, do your own research, and get full clips. Be careful of what and who you trust on social media. So I will play the video clip and you will decide for yourselves whether or not Prime Minister Holness would have responded to this young man in a way that would have been disrespectful. You will be the judge.
Good night, everyone. My name is Daniel Thomas. I'm the president of the Love March movement, which is a youth organization, and we have an initiative called Colorblind, which is where we encourage young people to be engaged in political and national matters with an unbiased eye, without political assignment or, alignment rather. Okay, so my issue that I would like to raise at this time is with respect to NIDS. All right. Now, I am not, and we are not, against a national ID. We see the benefit of it. There are great pros. It will fill gaps in the country, but we believe that in its current form, it poses significant issues for many Jamaicans, especially with the fact that there has not been, in my opinion, and many other Jamaicans, 60,000, I checked the petition this morning, 60,000 Jamaicans here and abroad who feel that there needs to be more consultation, ventilation of the issues, speaking about pros and cons. All right, both of them are important to a consultative process. So we're being told that we must enroll in NIDS, or in the next 3 years we'll be possibly fined a max of $100,000 and barred from government services and possibly private services as well. The only exception being where there's a threat to health or life or a state of national emergency. Now, I'm deeply concerned about this bill because of the impact on the country.
So Charles, you have given us 2 points in the bill that you'd like responded to.
Well, I can't go into all of them, but just to say, right now I qualify for NHT.
Yes.
In 3 years, I will somehow lose my qualification because, I mean, somebody can respond to the NHT point, of course.
You're sure about that?
Well, that is my understanding because it won't be a threat to my life or health.
This is where you're going to come to get all the answers. All right.
Right.
So allow them to respond now. Thanks, Charles. Really appreciate it.
We have over 60,000 Jamaicans.
So Charles, so you have to allow them to respond.
Me?
Yeah,
I am
sorry.
Thomas. Sorry.
I'm so sorry,
My name is
Thomas. My apologies.
Can I just
called you
finish
the
the
wrong
last
name.
2 lines here?
The last
It's
2 lines.
Very quick.
2 points or lines?
2 lines. So my closing thought would be to withdraw the bill, allow for proper ventilation of the issues over a 3-month period even, town hall meetings and joint select committee where we can properly speak about the many, many issues that are in the bill. We're not against the bill, but we are for the country of Jamaica moving forward.
Thanks,
well,
Thomas.
I tell you what,
Excellent.
Thomas,
yes.
I'm very happy that we find common ground, being that we are both for the country moving forward. But I just wanted to know, can you now get your NHT benefit without providing identification? I just wanted to know. And the answer is no. No, you can't. Secondly, and let's be clear.
Hang on, Thomas, you don't get a second chance. So sorry, you already asked.
You've asked your question.
No, you already asked.
Oh, it was
I'm
rhetorical.
sorry.
Okay, fine. Like many other things, it's rhetorical. Fine. Secondly, Thomas, do you know, how old are you, Thomas?
I am 26.
Do you know that this bill, this idea of creating a national registry started from as early as 1970? And we have been discussing this national ID, morphed from having a birth certificate that's unique, starting with ID for voting, which by now most Jamaicans who don't intend to vote but who want some identification decides that, well, we will take the voter ID but we won't vote. I'll give my fingerprint for the voter ID, but I don't vote. There are 1.8 million Jamaicans who want an ID, and they give their fingerprint willingly, including some of the 60,000 who signed the petition. Answering personal questions, providing personal information, and freely giving of their biometric. The government has that now. What's new? You talk about consultation and speaking about this bill. In 2002, this bill was brought to the Parliament of Jamaica by the then Minister of Health, John Jr. It was tabled in Parliament and a joint select committee was named. It sat and languished and nothing happened. In 2009, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding saw that the bill was there, nothing is happening with it, started a resurrection of it. In 2012, former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller took the bill, and her very statements, this is a very important thing and we are going to push it, and started the negotiation for a loan to do this with the IDB. It was good for them to start the conversation about a $64 million loan, but now it is not good. You know what I reject? Do you know what I reject? I reject the view that somehow you have a higher moral authority on this matter than I do. I am not here to create, and I make that point very seriously, because I am not here to create a system that is going to deprive Jamaicans of their freedom. And you know what else?
But the bill
I
does.
am not hiding from consultation. I am here facing the questions. Unlike most, I am facing the questions and answering them. And I will go to every church in Jamaica. I will go to every room, every house, and I will answer them. Because I am not trying to take away anybody's right.
Deal with the Prime Minister.
And I find that this discussion is disingenuous, unfair, and untruthful. And I will tell you, Jamaica, I am not going to hide from this. If you say that you are for Jamaica and that you agree that we should have a national civil registry, then let us talk as we are doing, but let us talk on the facts of the situation, not on the untruths and what we make up. Let us discuss the facts.
All right.
So this was the reaction of another young man who was not appreciative of how the Prime Minister responded to the first young man who questioned about NIDS.
Okay, good night, everyone. My name is Glendon Martin. I am a student of the University of Technology. And I had a question, but the president had a similar question, so I'll allow him to ask the question. But what I have to say, well, I have a comment, actually. The gentleman that asked the question on NIDS, Mr. Prime Minister, I was taken aback by the way you responded to the question. I felt that you came across too strong, and when I was listening to you, while I was listening to you, I was saying, everybody, should I go and ask this gentleman a question? Will he answer me in the same tone that he answered the young man? And what I want to say and what I want to see in Jamaica or overall with politics is that our politicians behave sometimes, even in parliament, when you see them jumping over, arguing with each other. Our young people are looking at this and they're saying this is something that is right because the politicians, the leaders of our country, this is something that they do. So, Mr. Prime Minister, I would like for you to, first of all, apologize on the way you responded to the question. And secondly, allow me to finish, please. Allow me to finish, please.
So, my darling, hang on 1 second. Sir, hold on, everybody. 1 second. You know, the great thing about youth, hold on, the great thing about youth is that we see no boundaries at all. None at all. I think that you possibly could think hard on your comment and suggestion, really, in terms of the implications. I understand your feeling, but allow the Prime Minister to respond, though, since you have no quiet question. Allow the Prime Minister to respond.
Just one thing I need to add to
no,
what I was
you've gone past your 30.
Well, just to what I was saying, that our country is seeing some improvement, and that is something I must commend your government on doing. But we want to see more and more where the young people voice is being heard, and you can listen and sit and talk with us to hear what we have to say.
Thank you so much.
Well, look, let me be frank with you, right? Let me be frank with you. I was a young man too. And that's an excellent strategy that you tried to use a while ago. I commend you. Excellent strategy. But I learned one lesson in my political career. Passion. And when you believe in something, you have to stand for it. And you have to speak with passion. And, you know, I'm sure Thomas knows that it was a very good back and forth response. And you made some points, Thomas, and I made some points. Exactly. And at the end of it, Thomas is going to sit there and say, "Hail Prime Minister." And I'm going to say, "Hail Thomas."
Yes.
Yes! Come on now. that is just how debates go.
Yes.
And you know, when we are talking and our hands are gesticulating, as long as we remember to be respectful. That the personhood should not be violated, and that the opinions must be respected.
Absolutely.
Right? We agree?
Thank you so much, Prime Minister.
So the Prime Minister has been quick to tell everybody who is willing to listen that he is not the initiator of the National Identification System, and it was not a brainchild of his or the Jamaica Labour Party, but it was first initiated by the now opposition People's National Party, and it has been languishing in the office of the Prime Minister for decades, and he is now seeing the benefits of it, and he has decided to fast track its implementation. So this is what he had to say in relation to that. Since my involvement in the bill developed under my watch, we did not have a requirement for compulsory registration. It is most disingenuous of the opposition to now no longer support a bill which they were eager to fast track when they were in government, and in discussion insist that registration be mandatory. Any concerned Jamaican can simply do an online search to understand the level of hypocrisy displayed by the opposition. This bill was already in the office of the Prime Minister from the days of the previous administration. So this is what he had to say about that.
Mr. Speaker, before I ask for the approval of the amendments, there are two clauses in the bill which seem to have given concern to the public, and which I am compelled to take the time to explain. Clause 20 deals with the enrollment of citizens and provides for the fine of $100,000 if one does not comply. Mr. Speaker, since my involvement in the bill, and the bill that was developed under my watch, we did not have in that bill a requirement for compulsory registration. We started off from a position that we would seek to get the public to comply by virtue of them seeing the benefits of the bill. It was in discussions with a select team from the opposition that the opposition insisted that it be mandatory. And Mr. Speaker, the hypocrisy that I have had to listen to. But you know, Mr. Speaker, my mother always tells me, hold your tongue. Hold your tongue. Because you know, Mr. Speaker, again the falsehood about this bill not having the benefit of public discourse. In 2000, the then government, which is the opposition now, took a bill to Parliament, carried it to a joint select committee, and in that bill, Mr. Speaker, they had a clause for it to be mandatory. And guess what the fine was? $100,000 at that time. Now, if you brought $100,000 and added interest to it, inflation and everything to bring it up to current dollars, it would be a significant amount of penalty. So it is very disingenuous for the opposition to now come and try to claim a ground that they themselves rejected. Mr. Speaker, all that any concerned Jamaican has to do is just go on the internet, or if you store newspapers, go back, and you will see that the opposition, the then government, supported the bill, said how necessary it was, no less a person than the former Prime Minister. The bill, the National Identification System, I did not bring that into the office of the Prime Minister. It was already in the office of the Prime Minister from the opposition.
when you look at the reports from JIS and the statements of urgency and importance for the bill to be done, Mr. Speaker, it is disingenuous because it was always the intention of that government there. Now the
Hello everyone, I hope you've watched the video, and it's very very intrusive. Like, this is what boldness is explained to be, and this is a student who is focused and who stands by his policies, by whatever he wants to be done. So you are going to realize that at first the Prime Minister addressed these students in a very angry tone, in a very harsh tone, and there were just questions that were asked about the NIDS. These are technology and information students, college students, I mean. They're in a certain university and they are studying. So this is what happens when you don't deliver. These things have been happening not only in Jamaica but in so many African countries, so many black countries. So this video will teach you, this video is going to show you how a failed government will have a hard time explaining itself. So this student stood up and just to the eye of the Prime Minister and said, please, you have to apologize. I don't think you're answering the questions as are they supposed to be answered. You are doing it in a wrong way, and this is how it should be done. Please, Prime Minister, will you please apologize? Until the moderator had to chip in and save the Prime Minister from the ambush. So how bold can we get? How bold can we stand to our leaders? We do elect them. It is us who elect them. They don't take themselves to those seats. Even if they use their money, they use whatever the resources they have to get there. It is by our votes. We wake up early in the morning, queue, vote them. Then after getting into power, they see like they have made it. So this was very good video. There is a time that we don't have to fear them. They are not gods of this world. They ain't. They'll die. We will die just like them. So it's about that time we tell them the truth. I love how Jamaican youths are getting up, seeing the mess in their country, seeing the high crime rate in their country, the corruption rate, how the government is not delivering. The government has fully focused on the West. It's getting orders from the West, doing as they are ordered by the European nations, the same nations that colonized them. It's the same nations that are behind their leaders, running the country behind someone. So we've had so many puppet leaders. I know some will argue that Holness has done a good work. That's a kudos to him. That's good. Yes, they're elected to work for us who elect them. They are not elected to be there to be praised. No, we don't have to praise them. It is their mandate to deliver. We pay taxes. Jamaicans pay taxes. And what do the Jamaicans expect after paying taxes? Of course, it's work. You have to put in the work. You have to show them that you actually deserved the seat that they voted for you. So kudos and a big congratulations to this student. I know it might have felt awkward. Some people may have said, no, he's harsh to the Prime Minister. But let me tell you the truth. If you don't tell these leaders the truth, they'll mess up our countries. It is that high time we as youths, we as the citizens of our country, wake up from the slumber we are in. Come out in one voice. Tell them, no. We are not going to do this. We are the people. We pay the taxes, the big cars you drive, the big securities you walk around with. There are our money. That's where our taxes are. So please do as we want, not as you want. So let me know whatever you think of this video and so many other things that are happening in the Jamaican world. I know people will come for me, but I have to say the truth, man. They are not elected to boss us around. They are elected to work for us. Thank you so much. Let me see you in my next video. Salute to my big fans from the Jamaican land. I love you all.